Hello there. Here we are again. I'm just sitting down in the woods here. It's very nice. I think in the last video, I was talking about emotions and how freeing it is to actually start playing with that you're not your emotions. And how to do that is to see where you have a story around your emotions and feelings. That I feel like this, and it's because of that, and there's the story. And I was inviting people to play with seeing that in ourselves, and to just have our own experience of what it's like when you stop owning those emotions and let them be energy that's there, or it's just happening rather than because of this big story, right? So I'm really excited to read the comments and see what you discovered about that. But I think right at the end, I said, well, then another thing to play with is actually body sensations, because it's absolutely freeing to realize that what's going on in the body doesn't necessarily have that story as well, or how much we try and put into that story to try and work out what's going on to try and fix it. You know, our own our relationship with our body, our own relationship with our health. And why I thought this is a beautiful continuation of that, because I just had a headache. Woke up this morning with a pretty strong headache and got to play with the body sensations, the story around it. You know, what did I do wrong to get this? What do I need to get past this? How quickly can I heal this? And the pain on a scale of 0 to 10, before, now, in the future. Like there's such a story wrapped around it. And years ago, I started playing with forgetting the story, doing what I needed to do to be comfortable or to heal, things I've learned over the years that work for my body system. Or, you've got things that you do for you, that you know what you need, or you've been told or you've read that it works for you for whatever you could be going through. And so years ago, I really started playing with the thoughts, the mind, and realizing that you can have pain, but you don't need the suffering. And if you're really, really present to it, even the idea of pain starts to change. Now, it's a bit of a tricky subject to get into because a lot of people have chronic pains or discomforts, and it's pretty insensitive to say, hey, it's just a thought, right? Because it's like, who knows what someone else is experiencing. But all I can do is share with you what I've experienced and play with, because it's by no means an ongoing experience or how it always is. No means. But it's been something I've explored. So one time I heard that there actually isn't pain because pain is in the past or the future. And I was like, that's not my experience. It's freaking killing me right now. But what I discovered by being really present and playing with the idea that, or the possibility that that could be truth, was I started to become very present to what my body was experiencing. And it was very true that the story around it has to be a comparison when I didn't have the pain compared to now having the pain. When am I going to get over the pain? When is the pain going to go away? And like I said, on a scale of 0 to 10, how painful is it? So that's the story. And what is that? That is comparison. So it's not actually being present to what is, it's a comparison to what it shouldn't be, or when it wasn't, right? Or when it's going to get better. So that's the story, that's the idea of what we call pain. If you're just experiencing this moment with a migraine, for instance, or a back pain or a knee pain or stomach pain, whatever's going on, and you're very, very aware of not being caught up into the story, then there's simply what's going on in this moment in its totality. And that includes whatever the body's going through. And for me, what that meant is once the story, the gross story is what did I do, what bad me, what do I need to do to fix it, right? That's the gross story. The subtle story is the pain itself, the details about it, compared to when there was no pain. So there's subtler and subtler levels of that. My pain, me and the pain, all of those subtle levels of identification. But to be so present that there's not even thinking, that there's no story at all, then there's simply this massive surrender to what is. And I call surrender because you're no longer fighting it or trying to fix it. But because you're not fighting it or trying to fix it, your body can relax. And because the body can relax, it's allowed to heal itself way quicker than struggling with our messages being sent going, it's wrong, it's right, it's wrong, all right, what do I need to do? Da, da, da. Those kind of messages really complicate the body's natural abilities. And yet, when you just become so present that you're not thinking and judging everything, it actually allows the body to settle into its state of operating to heal itself. So that's a very complicated way. Hopefully you've kept up with me of all these words. But it's a complicated way of basically saying the more we can just rest and be in the present moment with whatever's going on, the more we're giving the body permission to do its thing. And that's where it became magical for me. A migraine could be magical, go figure. But yeah, because suddenly I could actually go into that source. There's that word again. SOURCE, please, not tomato sauce. And you could go into the source of that area of the body, and you could actually even put a color to it. Like often for me, the migraines are either black or red. So it's either like a blockage of energy or a fiery overworking of something. That's how I interpret those colors. And maybe that's just my own imagination, but if you can go into the area of pain and put a color to it or a shape to it, often pain can come out as squares or jagged, or nails, driving holes. That's what it feels like, a jackhammer going into your head sometimes. Or swelling pressure, all that kind of stuff. And what that did for me, though, is because being that present, that you're actually exploring the sensation and what the body's doing, it's actually exploring your experience of it. And that allows the body to settle down because you're not like, in the freak out zone of, oh my God, what do I need to do? Oh my God, it's so sore. Like that's creating energy and stress in the entire system, as you could imagine. Yet to gently explore and be present with it and let go and relax into it and be curious about it, your body's obviously in a more relaxed state. And so then it can move into its own healing program, which might mean, for me often it means I can fall asleep. And then by the time I wake up, it's moved on. So again, it's the invitation to play and explore. There's so many bigger versions of who we are and how this is playing itself out. There's so much more that is happening than we unconsciously put fear or thinking and stories around. And to play with being as conscious as possible during even these intense experiences like body pain, it's kind of exciting in its own way because here we go. A lot of people think spirituality or meditation or happy hippie people is all about happy all the time. That's the embodiment of peace. To be blissed out and to be in peace is to be happy. Well, there's no way in the world I'd class myself as happy when I'm going through a migraine. There's no part of me that's laughing. But peace, yes. And it's a different understanding of the word peace or the concept of peace compared to blissed out peace and happy people around the world. Like we have our ideas of what it all should be, but it's being conscious. That's my definition of meditation, is how to be conscious and to be aware of those thinking patterns or those stories which are very derogative or harmful to what we actually are, who we actually are. And you wouldn't think that thinking could be so harmful, but when you're putting so much fear into your system or stress or worry, which is understandable because it's pain, I get it. But I'm just making a point that the contrast when you're not doing that is actually very peaceful and loving. And it's a different loving. It's an experience that everything is okay, no matter what you're going through. Now, we're all going to have our own exploration of this, and obviously pain comes in different levels, intensity, forms, colors, chronic, sharp and new. I mean, there's so many different ways pain is experienced, meaning there's no one answer here. I'm not giving you the key or the answer, and I hope I never do because I don't want to. All I can do is give you some of my observations and invite you to have yours. And that's why it's your path and your awakening and your spirituality, right? It can never be mimicked to be mine. And that's the whole thing about a guru too. You don't follow a guru. You know, you might be inspired by somebody that's sharing their way and their understanding and what's happened through their nervous system. But your nervous system and your path is your path. It might come under this umbrella of the same teaching, but it's uniquely yours forever, right? And it's the same with this. This is an invitation to see pain differently, to explore how you can change your relationship with your body by seeing your thought patterns and your instant story that gets created. Because that was my instant one. And I noticed it even in my wording this morning, once I got up and about. I even have wording, like I'd say to my husband, like, oh, what did I do? This is what I did. So there's all these ideas of what's right or wrong. And even if I am just talking or if I really am believing it, you know, that's part of being human and interacting with each other, you know, you talk. But it's very cool to explore your own path with this, your own way with this. And one more comment on that, how it looks today might be totally different how it looks tomorrow. Right? So even the realizations we get now with playing with it, we have to keep letting go and being empty so that the next time we have the opportunity to explore with, excuse me, body sensations or body pain, we're completely innocent again and open to whatever we're exploring. And it could be the complete opposite. It doesn't do too good for the side effects of the migraine. You know, it gets a bit vague as you sort of come out of that intense situation, which is my day today. So it's just a bit of a vague day, but that's normal for me after a migraine. Well, I hope these videos just give you ways to explore, because I'm fascinated by it, absolutely fascinated. So if you want to share comments, ask questions, I'd love to read them. Okay, I can feel another cough, so I think I'm going to end it. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.